Here we are with another Saturday Night Live Zoom.
Again?
We've having some challenges getting started. It's October 17th, 2020. And all is well. We continue to move forward as best we possibly can. This is the first time we've had a challenge like this with Zoom. It is always the first time. So
they do
the
say it's
best
the
we can.
operator, though. Do you know that?
We don't what?
They say it's the operator.
Yeah, of course, it's me. It's garbage in, garbage out. That's how computers work. But I can tell you that when Mercury's in retrograde, computers will give you challenges, man. I've seen stores, their whole system shut down in the middle of Mercury, and nothing they could do.
Yeah. I was in Broken Hill a week ago, and we went to Coles, which is one of the largest shopping chains in Australia. And on Saturday afternoon, all of the stores of Coles could not operate their cash register anymore in the whole country. Just
there you go.
Gone.
There you go. It's Mercury.
Anything you had to put back on the shelf, go to the opposition. Yeah. So, yeah, it does happen, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. When you see these things, pay attention to the retrogrades. It's 3-4 times a year. And there's what they call the pre and then the post. And at any time in that time, you can have challenges. Like just before, we were in the pre-Mercury, and there was stuff happening with Facebook was acting all weird. And it's the way it is. And it's just like over these years using Facebook, I've seen a lot of challenges with Facebook in those times. So some Mercuries are more challenging than others, but hey, we embrace it and we love Mercury and we work with it because these energies are there for a reason. And there's nothing that we have to worry about. We just embrace it. Usually what you do is there's usually delays and stuff, like what you've heard when you have challenges with computers. If you just relax and wait it out, they usually correct themselves. If you try and fix it, you just go cuckoo because there's nothing really broken. It's just the effect of the energies of this planet being in retrograde. And this is where we talk about where we focus on the fields, forget about matter. Fields control everything. And just this, Mercury planet going in retrograde, it shows how much effect it has on the whole freaking planet that we live on anyway, and probably other things. But I don't know, it's I guess a time for us to reflect and look at things and take our time and not get agitated. It's a challenge to have agreements with people or make contracts. Like if you're going to be buying any large investment things, make sure they have good warranties. If you're doing it in these times, or just postpone it and do it outside of these times. But that's not that it's going to rule your life. We just work with these energies, and we elevated soul, for being part of what we are, because we're all one in this together, and we can work with it. Hans, what you wrote here. The student and death. You want to read it?
It's just something that I put up that I've like when you just talked before. I find, there's this whole situation that we're in, talking about energy fields and all the rest. Just sums it very muchly up that nature always does what it does, and then is our influence, the human influence, that causes all the disruption and all the stuff as it does, you know what I mean? Because as Dad says, I come and get 100 people. I always have and always will. But if you get crazy about it, it's up to you. And I find, I'm not sure if it all depends. Everybody informs himself in different ways. But I mean, yesterday or 2 days ago, James Corbett, he really had a good explanation about the Great Reset, and just sums up a lot of situations which are seem to, for me, very correct and looking in the right direction. But again, everybody has their own way of informing himself and looking at what is right and what is wrong. But then, as I said, even yesterday I was listening to a German lady, Ellen Mickelson, and she has access to had a big occasion happening when in the mid-20s her husband died, and that opened up a lot of doors for her into different realms. And the way she talks about the negative forces, the darks, and darkness and light, it was just very inspirational, really, if you're that way inclined, because if people don't believe in it, or people have no connection to energy fields, or can't believe that energy fields or energy runs the whole world or the whole universe, then it's very hard to explain. But that lady really, and she was a model, and she was a producer, a fashion producer, and so on and so on. So worked on the highest level with highest people together, and then had awakenings and got drawn into the dark side of energy fields and people that run the world. And it was just amazing the way she had that interview. It was just really awakening for me, even for me, when you hear what she had to say, how this really whole thing functions. But again, it's something that only through the Master Fast myself, I've gained access to certain fields and certain realms that are there. They're there. You can't deny it. That's just there. But if you can't open up and not open to, not willing to do that, then it makes it very hard. Simple as that. So there's Rana again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I just said, like when you see, nature always, and the universe runs by its own mechanism. Can we explain it? Can we comprehend it? No. Do we try? Yeah. Are we succeeding? No. Are we destroying us? Yes. So what more can you do? What more can you say? It's really not, it's something, that's what I'm saying, like we one of the biggest downfalls that I think we have as humanity is we just cannot be that we can say that we don't know. We need to explain every single thing. We need an explanation for every single thing. I think that's detrimental. Instead of just saying and admitting, hey, I don't know. I just really don't know. And does it matter? Because that's the other question too. Does it really matter if you understand or not? A lot of times, or most of the time, no, it doesn't. And so with that acceptance that we don't have, and try to manipulate everything and master everything, as I said many times before, that we just try to master nature or source. We can't. It's impossible. It's like, remember the Big Bang. How did we make this story about the Big Bang? How can we, in our small mind, really think that we know what has happened? Yes, we need an explanation, and that sounds all reasonable, but I don't know. It's just very out there, isn't it, really?
It's like you said about, we're looking through microscopes at one point, or with a telescope at one point of this whole universe, and we believe we understand what's going on by looking at one point when it's freaking endless and infinite. It's just absolutely ludicrous for anybody to believe that they understand when they're looking at these things. This is what our science is based on: microscopes and telescopes and all this nonsense. Is there any validity to any of that stuff? Well, we can see the reaction of what's happening in matter state, and that's about it. But do we understand it? Absolutely not. No freaking way. Not from what I've experienced in these 31 past years being involved in alternative type of health, what they call it. Anytime that I put any focus on that stuff, like I always got in trouble. So that just shows me right there. I don't need their bull crap to get onto the road of balance. That information is within all of each and every one of us. Everybody has access to it. We don't need any knowledge about it. It's programmed within every one of us. It's comes right through, comes right from our soul, right through into our physicality. We just have to learn to access that. And it's very simple to do. Stop eating. We know that. Clean yourself up, and you start gaining access and find all the answers you need to know. We don't need to know, all the whole ways of how everything absolutely works in all the universes in nature. It's not going to help us. And this relentless quest that humans have been trying to figure it out has gotten us to the point where we're all wearing masks. You know what I mean? This just shows you how much validity that has. It's absolutely nonsense. And we need to open up to the spirit of the creator, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. The spirit of humanity has gone out the window. And that's why we're all wearing masks out here. The morals gone, all that stuff gone. I was just reading, somebody put a post about what people were complaining about in 1957 or something, about the swear words and so on. There's too many swear words. I don't know if anybody's seen that. And right now, everything's acceptable. Murdering, cheating, lying, defrauding, tyranny. It's all acceptable. Everybody's accepting it.
Everything goes and nothing matters.
Yeah. So, until we come to terms of who we really are, we're beings of light, and we must follow the laws of the universe in peace, balance, correct conduct. Until we come to that point as a whole of humanity, we're going to be in a much worse place than we are right now if we don't make the changes. And it's all planned for us of what these agendas are in place right now. And they're very clear and precise, and they're not shy about what they're doing anymore. We have the power. They don't have any power. Without people, they don't have any power at all. That's all we have to remember. And when we focus on a lifestyle of de-obstructing, we get a much more clear vision very, very easily of what's going on within ourselves and with our environments. It's very easy to see. We don't need to need any diplomas or any of that stuff. It's right there, right in front of our eyes, available for everybody.
Yeah, I've just put up the link of that James Corbett report if anybody's interested. But as I said, there's so many ways of informing yourself and having an opinion about it. It's and that comes back to each individual. Look at Steve. Being in 95 days. All right. How does that feel, Steve, to you? Can you actually feel different energies, like with this whole? Because you think there's 7 billion people in fear, say, all right? And that fear to me has made a huge difference. Like I can somehow sense that, the numbness of a lot of things. Even when I go, as I said, I traveled around a bit last couple of weeks. From place to place, it just changes, As soon as I drive into cities, there's a far more overwhelmingness in myself than when I go out into open space. That's what I felt. I don't know. Because you're right into a cleanse at the moment. Can you feel that or not?
No, everything's blocked. It's just, everything is just blocked off.
Or any of you, Elaine, can you feel a difference in fields or in feeling of being overwhelmed by the situation that we're in?
Well, it's interesting that you ask, because I live in a big city that's like gone back into lockdown because we have like some of the highest numbers in Canada. But I back onto a park. And so everyone around where I live, it seems like they're all the rebels. It's almost like I've attracted people like me to me, because the park behind my house, you might even hear firecrackers going. But yeah, it's like people don't wear masks and they don't distance. It's like this one little safe spot in the big city where everyone's free. So I feel that like positive energy, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah. But if I go shopping, you know, things like that, it's different. Then I feel it. Yeah. But it's interesting because where I live in Brampton, most of the people here are immigrants. They're from India, and they're not too concerned about distancing. They wear their masks, but they don't seem to be that afraid, really.
Hmm.
It's just a different culture, maybe. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, I found with immigrants, they comply, you know, because for them, so what? It's a mask, you know. It's not gonna change my life. I feel, you know.
But it does change it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think they know how easy it is not to wear a mask. This is the thing, you know. The same thing with me. I mean, I don't, because I became aware about, you know, these things. But for example, my sisters, I think if they have to wear it, they would wear it, you know. And many people, if they have to wear it, they would wear it. But is it do they believe? And I'm sure they're questioning many things happening now with the whole shutdown of the whole world. Many people are questioning. Maybe at the beginning they didn't so much, but because it's taking so long, I believe many people are questioning the virus, if it's the virus or something else is happening. Yeah, but the immigrants in general, I feel they usually comply. You know, they come from a different country, so they don't want to make problems. Different culture. They don't know the ins and outs of the Canadian culture. So they just want the easy way of being in this country. You know, the easy, peaceful way. Yeah. Whereas for Canadians, they're born and raised here, and I think they know they have more rights than an immigrant, you know. But the truth is, if you are a Canadian, then you have equal rights, right? You have equal rights. It's just I don't think they have exercised their rights as much as the people born and raised here. I say this, I came here at 17, so that's how I feel.
So you and Gino and were at the rally today.
Yeah, it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I was like, why didn't we do this earlier? We have a friend who used to go there, you know, and he used to tell us that he went, but he never really like pushed us to go. He likes, you know, whenever people want to go, they will go. But I wouldn't mind encouragement. Actually, we saw him 2 days ago, and he said he's going. And I was like, I looked at Gina and said, why don't we go? You know, he said, yeah, maybe we'll go, or maybe not. But you know, it wasn't like it's like always maybe, you know. But then when I went today, I was like, you know, people. It's important that we support each other, that people support each other, because like us, we were like, you know, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's not best to go. I mean, why not just go to a protest? Maybe it's every Saturday. So every Saturday, it's not a protest really. I would say it's just a march. It's a walk. I don't know if they do the walk every because they close the streets, right? And it's downtown Toronto. And I think some people were not happy about that. The ones who were angry, I think, were not happy about that. But the majority of people were totally fine taking videos. Yeah, it was so people like us, you know, when they see a march like that, they would maybe consider, they would go online and see how often this happens, and maybe next time they would participate. And that's what I'm saying. That's how people, you know, it's nice to bring the people together. Social media is one thing, sharing videos is one thing, but then really going out and doing things is another thing, you know. Within your own little, you know, wherever you live, you know, everybody can do something. I totally agree. So because there are many groups like us, and why not get together with people in your local area and raise awareness? Do whatever in a peaceful way, you know, to raise awareness. Nothing wrong with that, you know. So these are the people that I feel, you know, like you can help, for sure. You can help people who are not sure, maybe they're too busy, distracted with something. They're bothered by the whole thing, but they're not doing enough about it. So that's one way to really go out and do something about it. Because as I said, social media, you can only do so much by sharing the message of the corruption, you know.
Yeah, see here, like as I live in Sydney, we really have had, well, we haven't had any lockdowns since April, and everybody, even like they might be 10% now walking around with masks, if that. Everybody has gone back to just behaving like humans should behave. Again, you know, you can't shake hands. I mean, all things that are so natural and are so important for human beings. That interconnection, that hugging, that being with each other, close with each other, all this, I feel is just betrayed by the whole mechanism that is in place, implementing all that. Because, as I say, I'm informed in that direction that I really think this is all a big scam. There's a bigger agenda behind it. And from that point, I can't relate. Not only can I relate because of what I've done myself through MFS, when you clean yourself and when you go through different levels of health, you understand that it is in your own power to change everything. And when you then get told and forced upon for things that you know that are not correct, that's when I feel, you know, you feel very pissed off with the system, really. I mean, that's all I can say, because right or wrong, for me, I can't agree with what they're doing. I cannot do that. With what I've personally experienced, what I feel, what I do, I cannot agree with what is going on, 100%. And I think it's good, yes, stand up, because you can see peace walks, peace marches, fantastic. But as the agenda keeps rolling, like here you see in Australia down in Melbourne, you know, they're coming out of lockdown now, blah, 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 blah. You know, they got one new case and no deaths, and they're still making a fuss. That's why I put that up. Death will come and take what it needs to take. That's all it is. What do you want to do, that nobody dies anymore? I mean, how does that operate? I mean, just these questions that they procrastinate about one new case. Like, what case is that exactly? And then, you know, with the PCR test, I mean, if you looked into that, just into the PCR test that Kerry Mullins itself said, you cannot diagnose and it should not be used for what it is used. I mean, he's dead now too. I'm just saying it, but naturally or neutrally informing yourself about a few things, you have to put a question mark on this whole scenario, really. You know, I understand the mechanism of protection. I understand that people are worried, and as you can see, fear kills. How many people have died from fear now?
Way more died from COVID, that's for sure.
Yeah. But how do we stand up against that?
Can't.
How? That's really a real big question mark to me. I don't know. I don't have the answers for that because the agenda that
The people want to keep their heads in the sand. Nobody wants to do any freaking investigation.
I mean, remember that Belarusian, that Lukashenko, he got bribed nearly $1 billion by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank to set his country in lockdown. And he refused to do that. I mean, I don't know, like, how more proof, what more do you want to know? But where is the judge that goes or the prosecutor to do something about that? The guy admittedly admits that he's been bribed. And that's not only, I had that out of several different directions. I read that. Is anybody doing anything about it? That's what I'm saying. It's that I can't see, how do we get out of this? Because yes, we can go and march. Absolutely, we need to stand up and unite. But when you see that there's things keep rolling on, and then when I see, and you can see it in particular in Canada, like how, as Elaine just said, town just got into lockdown. Who made that decision based on what exactly? But how do you prosecute something like that? And I understand the law system too, but the law itself is not just, because the law itself is manipulated, as we all know. So it's very hard to get to a position where you can change something around, That's I feel that helplessness in that way. Standing up, like I see it is in Germany and in a lot of, because I follow Germany quite closely, how they do peace marches and peace movements. They don't want confrontation. They just want to basically want their democracy back that they had and the rights they had, which have been taken away. Even here, they've been taken away from us. Will we ever get them back? I don't think so. Because it hasn't happened yet. Even we have no cases, everything runs by itself, and they just keep running an agenda. So I think everybody needs to wake up, But what event is it necessary for each of us to wake up? I have my events, and I know that I'm awake, and the rest, I don't know if they still. And remember, Buckminster Fuller said it's not the obedience and not the disobedience is the problem in our society. It's the obedience that we have. We obey.
Always.
Yep.
Always. So that's another point.
People supporting the tyranny.
Mm.
All the cops and so on and so forth, and whoever else is involved, politicians and everything. That's the problem.
That's why, and I can't, I see people, they investigate that, and as I said, there's so many different sources, and they make it their livelihood to investigate this, and then you expose. Think about it, and then exposure happens to all this tyranny, to all this wrongdoing, but then there's no judgment, there's no turning around. I don't see that. That's frustrating, isn't it? I mean, to me it is. When I see that, hey, we have exposed that a PCR test should not be used to diagnose a viral infection.
And they're still using it.
And they're still doing it, and they're still shutting things down because of that. I know you can say, oh, no, this is all not. But as I said, everybody has to do their own research. And when I see that I've researched and listened to people that actually far more academic and far more smarter than what I am, and they all come to the same conclusion. But they're not driven by an agenda by a mainstream agenda. That's another thing too, because remember, only against the current you get to the spring. So you have to go and run against the people, because if you go with the mainstream, well, where do you end up? I mean, I think we know that. So that's something so when I see that people really go against the current and really try to get to the source of things, And that's also from different directions. I see that and listen. And I see that we're completely betrayed. We're completely brainwashed. And that I find very humiliating. Yeah, like really damaging. I really found that. And I feel that because my energy feels low. I feel overwhelmed when I see that people have to be forced to do things that are not necessary. Just on what grounds? And that nobody tells you that either. You know, like think about it. with everything we know, so we got to wait for vaccinations to come along, the vaccines. But it's not one; there'll be several vaccines, and then you need a certificate for this, and then you need this, and you need that. I don't know. Is that the solution? Is that what mankind is here for? I don't know. I personally don't think so. But you bring an opposite opinion and then you'll get thrashed, from pillar to post. And I find that very, frustrating, at least,
At least.
If people cannot see that slavery, they're not going to listen to anything.
I had a situation this week. My younger daughter is living in residence and she got sick and she was absolutely terrified. So I said to her, don't tell a soul, I'm coming to get you. We picked her up right away because she was afraid that she was going to get taken away and forced to be tested. And they do have a policy at our university where you do have to isolate in this place by yourself and you have to pay $200 a night. So she's scared. So she stayed here and she basically lied to all her friends. And so what kind of mentality is that she's learning? But she was terrified that they would find out that she was sick. Because I've told her that I didn't want her to get tested. And because her friends are getting tested constantly. So yeah, it's just a very different mentality. Like the kids, these are young kids, should be enjoying each other's company and they're telling on each other and it's sad.
Trying to convince everyone that they're sick. And the sickness is the ignorance. They are sick. The ignorance is a sickness. Through the fear, they choose to be ignorant. Because of human nature, of the laziness of human nature, not to do walk against the current, as Hans was describing. We don't want to walk against. We want to walk with the current. It's easier, right? It's too difficult to walk against the current. So this is the situation.
Easier, softer way.
Yeah. Well,
we will get through this.
Yeah.
We will get through this. There's going to be some rough roads still. But we'll get through this. There's just no frickin' way I can see that they can get away with this much longer. There's just no way. Too much truth is coming forward of all the scandalous stuff that they're doing and what they're implementing with their agendas now that they want to make concentration camps right across Canada and stuff. It's just like, enough's enough. What are people going to wait for till they go reside in these places? Is that what they're going to wait for? Okay. The COVID's not going away. COVID-20's coming. COVID-19's going to be ending this year, and they're going to bring out COVID-20.
Oh, it's already not the same strain. It's not the same strain that started. So it was designed and mutated. So no vaccine will be coming. I don't know, and they know that. They know that.
I know, but if you just think about the viruses have always been around. There's always been challenges with viruses that the way they claim and so on and so forth. But now they're building infrastructure because of this one virus. They're building infrastructure around the planet. How ludicrous is that? And people are buying into it. Okay. Yeah, we got to build holding centers for COVID. Yeah, okay, sure. And this and that, like it's testing centers and this and it's just like, wow. Pretty interesting what's happening.
It's a distraction. It's a
Yeah.
distraction for their agenda. That's all it is.
Anyway, we were talking about you, Steve, what was happening before we shut down and started again. What's been happening?
Oh, it was crazy. Thursday was just weird. I've never had what happened Thursday happen before. The day was going fine. I had a yoga session a private yoga session. That was a little challenging physically. Then I got home and it's just like, boom. I mean, just freaking total weakness throughout the whole body, muscular. So I said, maybe I'll do, I said, maybe I'll just do a little weight, see what's going, just. I could have put 5 pounds in each. I could not do it. I just dropped them and I laid down. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the legs started cramping up. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, these are healing reactions that are going very deep. I've had situations like that, and you always come out stronger. Always.
It was what it was. It didn't bother me. It's like it's just part of what's happening. It's no big. It wasn't a big deal. I didn't freak out on it or anything. I just laid down.
Yeah. Just allow the body to get some rest. More.
I was a little concerned because I never lay down. But.
How was your dry fasting? Is it like, are you overdoing it?
No. If anything, no, not even. I have not even been able to do 24 hours the last couple of weeks since the season change.
Okay. And the daily?
22 hours.
Yeah. And the daily?
Yeah, that I'd probably push a little. I don't know, 16, 18 hours, 16?
Yeah, if it's 18, yeah.
It's at least 16, because I don't get home till 10, and I stop I don't have anything beyond 6, so 6 to 10 at the earliest.
Yeah, I would.
Sometimes it's 12, sometimes it's 18 hours, yeah. 16 to 18 probably.
Yeah, maybe reduce that.
Yeah.
Because, trust me, you don't feel it. But it does hit you, especially when you do a long master fast.
It seems to be, what I'm finding is that it's in 30-day periods. There are different levels about every 30 days.
Yeah.
At a deeper level. And I'm right at 90, so.
Yeah, after 2 months, it's really deep. Are you drinking?
And then today, the freaking release was like, whoa. That was a little messy on top of it.
Are you drinking enough within the 6 hours?
You know what I had? I did actually I broke the dry a little earlier this morning. Then I went and had my other yoga sessions on Saturday mornings. So I had half the tea on the way up and half on the way home. But then when I got home, I got this freaking fantastic beet juice. I love beet juice. Mm-hmm. I made my pudding with the half beet juice and half grape juice. I don't know if the beet juice dropped in it.
Beet juice is really rough on the body.
I put the picture, and then that was only half of it. The rest of it came out when I did the kalima. I mean, that was just part of what came out. Yeah,
the beet juice is very, very, very rough.
Really good beet juice too.
Yeah, and anytime you have a strong healing reaction, be sure that a release is trying to come out.
Oh yeah, I figured it was coming. I just didn't know when.
Are you drinking enough juice otherwise?
Yeah, I'm probably around 2 liters total liquid. 2.5.
You're still drinking 2.5 within 6 hours of dry?
Total liquid. I don't know. Not total juice. Total liquid. No, I can't. I don't know if that counts. When you say 2 liters, do you mean it's exclusively juice? I never asked that question.
Yeah. When we say 2 to 3 liters, we say juice.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I've never drank 2 liters of juice ever. Not since day one.
Yeah.
I mean, day one, 2 years ago.
So what do you drink?
Probably 1.5.
And then the rest is tea?
Yeah, tea. Sometimes I have some other juice.
Oh, okay, different juices. Yeah, I mean, different juices. Different juices. That's 2 to 3 liters. But I mean, well, Master Fast recommended is best, juices.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other ones will be slower, with the cleanse. But that they
I'm good. I mean, everything's good. Just it's as effortless today as it was on day one.
Oh,
I don't look at the challenges as challenges. Not this time. They're not challenges at all.
All part of the journey.
Yeah.
Embrace, jump for joy, keep going.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's good. I feel good. I felt good. The energy levels are down. The physical energy has been down probably from day 60 on. The first up to 60 was like freaking energy through the roof. But I was probably only sleeping 3-4 hours a night. Now I'm sleeping more.
Body needs rest.
Yeah. A lot of things happening in there. I also did a lot of other things too. I'm continuing with the yoga, we backed off a little bit Thursday, did a little more Columbia. But I did the Rolfing through this too. I went 10 weeks of Rolfing in this fast, so I was really pushing myself. Which is a tendency of mine to just push. Especially physically. I love to challenge myself physically. I always have. Probably a little more of the ego there. But yeah, so we just keep going.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm.
It's really nice to feel great. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
There's nothing like this, not at this point. And like I say, that I am aware of the fear. I've always been, especially because it's all around us, but it's almost like there's a force field. It's just, everything is just staying out. Staying out. I don't get too close to people anyway because they're so screwed up.
Paranoid, people are paranoid.
And I don't want to give my energy up for that anymore. I did in the beginning trying to enlighten people, put it that way, and it gets you freaking nowhere, really. Nobody. They fight back. You won't believe it. If you try to change people's minds on this shit, forget it. I mean, they are convinced that this thing is real.
Yep.
And they are convinced that the state is going to save them.
Yep.
You can't change that. Just God bless you and turn around and walk away.
Yeah, there's people that in the group, they believe it. They
Yeah.
believe in this stuff. Oh, my sister, or my brother, or my cousin, or whatever had it. Had what? A fake test?
Everybody, I know a few people that have had this, but every single one of them. The one guy, the guy that had it they got it from his mother. I didn't know. I thought he was healthy as a horse, but he uses a CPAP machine at night. So he's got underlying conditions. Every single person I know that has had this is not healthy, period, to begin with. And that's all I see with this thing. And if you look at all the deaths, it is not the healthy that are succumbing to this. This thing exploits. That's how it was designed. It was designed to do exactly what it was doing, what it's doing.
Yeah, and the underlying health
It
conditions.
was designed, and they just like they look at you like you're nuts. Nobody even realizes the connections between Fauci. I mean, we all know it, so it's no sense going back over it. But.
No, but the underlying health conditions, as people would put it, by the time modern day medical science finds it, those conditions have been there for decades in some cases. And then finally, now they can diagnose it.
My own experience with the hepatitis. That sat dormant for like 25 years. It sat, well, not quite. On the flip side, I could say the last 5 years before I treated it I didn't know it at the time, but it was manifesting physically. But so 20 years it sat dormant.
Yeah, well, I can sense that it's working its way out.
Yeah. For sure.
Healing reactions don't come for no reason.
No way. No way. Even in that treatment, I always had the muscle fatigue, but not the weakness. I always had the fatigue when I was treating. Not like,
there you go.
Not this weakness. So that was just something else.
There you go. Yeah, but
I know exactly where it came from. No illusions.
Treating it with drugs, right?
Hardcore. Chemo. Interferon. Ribavirin.
You're very
very nasty shit.
You're in very, very unique shoes to have experienced all that and to be where you are now.
Crazy. Show you what the body is, how well the body is designed, and then the abuse it can take.
It's amazing. It boggles the mind all the time. It never surprises me. It's just.
There's not a single person I know in AA that does not think that they have a second lease on life, because we all should be dead from what we did.
Yeah.
Yet we're not. So.
Yeah, no, we're thriving more than ever when we're cleaning. There's no question about that. Definitely not dead. It's the opposite.
I haven't lost a ton of weight either. I lost some, but not a ton. I'm about, I don't know what the hell it is, 132, somewhere over there.
Doesn't matter.
Nah. No, but my stepson got married last month, and my wife sent me a picture that somebody had took of us, and it's like I don't even recognize myself. Very, from no, I don't recognize it. And it's like, holy shit. There's no there's certainly no body fat left, a little hanging skin, but there's no body fat at all.
Yeah, the fat gets stripped away pretty quickly.
Yeah,
that's where the body holds all the heavy duty obstructions from all the bombardments, chemicals and drugs and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It holds it all in the fat.
Yeah, it did not. Did not smell so well in the bathroom today, that's for sure. My poor wife went in right after me. And I happened to be on, we had 2 bathrooms. She basically has her own, I have my own. But I was near hers and I wasn't gonna make it to mine, so.
But incense.
Yeah. She wants to take, she wants me to save her something next time it happens, because she wants to bring it into the lab.
To a lab.
She works in a lab.
Okay.
She wants to see what's in it.
What,
do you want
what's
that
that gonna do for any? What's
I
it gonna
don't
do
know.
for anybody?
I don't know.
Have her take some.
She comes from the medical field. That's kind of a challenge here. She's backed off. Well, I kind of told her to back off, not so in certain terms. Once I got tired of listening to her shit.
Yeah, have her analyze it. So,
Everything, but, you know, I wasn't nasty, but I said something and she just shot right back with some medical bullshit. And I said, you know what, I'm done speaking of this. I said, this isn't getting us anywhere, so I'm just gonna shut up about what I'm doing. That way we don't have to have this little confrontation. And from that point forward, the whole thing, you know, her mindset shifted.
it's challenged, especially people who've been trained in that way, for them
Yeah.
to see anything different. It's very challenging.
Yeah, and I was cognizant of that from day one, and then tried to meet her halfway with. But it got to the point, you know, getting her fast, and sometimes it's ready. Yeah, you ready? Shoot, aim.
Yeah, I had this doctor email me once, trying to entrap me in the medical stuff, because his daughter bought some tinctures and he wanted to have a scientific validation and all that. I said, I don't recognize anything you're saying. I'm sorry. We do these in small batches, handmade. If you want to use them, use them. If you don't use them. Like, you try. They try and use their luciferic intellect through their training to entrap you. That's how they're trained, so they can take advantage of us. If you understand it, you just walk away from that stuff. Don't play in their game. It's like the legal stuff. It's lawyers, doctors have their own languages, and accountants, they don't have their own languages, but it's simple. Actually, they do to some degree, because they're using the legal system. Jeez. What a world.
Well, you can't break through it. My wife is not the healthiest in the world. She's not, she put a couple pounds on. The way she eats is shitty. And she sees right in front of her eyes things that are taking place, and yet doesn't see.
It doesn't matter.
No, that's what I mean. It doesn't matter. It's like, and then she complains on how bad she feels. I'm like, well, then why don't you try something? Just make a change.
Yeah.
Here's the proof right in front of you.
Yeah. And the light has to come on within for somebody, and then they start seeing, and then you'll see they start asking different questions and so on and so forth. And sometimes they change their ways, but it's because I've seen that happen over the years here and there, and it's awesome. So it's
I mean, she's fully supportive, which is probably a good thing. So
it's challenging for a lot of people. A lot of people
challenges everything she believes. Everything.
Yeah,
I understand that.
You guys, I just wanted to say hi. I wanted to say hi to you guys. How you guys doing?
Hey, John. Good. Fortune.
Down. Huh?
Fortune.
Fortune?
Fortune, yeah, you got Fortune 2 on your screen, on your name.
Really? I don't know. Oh, that's the name of my phone, I think.
Ah.
Yes, I'm very fortunate. I'm downtown. I just wanted to say hi.
Hello.
I'll catch you guys next week, okay?
All right, John. Take care.
All right. See you later.
See ya. It's, as we continuously watch people going down this journey, the ones that actually choose it and live it and love it, um, the things that get shared are absolutely priceless. You can't pay for this stuff, that what we're talking about. So it's always a very big welcome to hear people share their stories, and that's really what we've been advocating since day one, because that's the core of what we're doing here, is sharing the stories. And then sharing the stories, we can reflect, because we're all mirrors of each other, and see things for what they really are, and come to this new understanding that we don't have to know anything, just start trusting in the soul. That's where it all happens, and not in the limitless realms of the fields. Just tap into that and watch what happens every time. Never fails.
Best gift so far is just the, how do I say this, attitude, maybe. Many friends, many people, close friends, have remarked on what a change there's been, not just physically, the demeanor, and because prior to this, there was always that low level agitation sitting right under the surface, just ready to come out and spring out any moment. That's pretty much gone.
Isn't that amazing?
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I've worked for 24 years to find this tiny bit of this peace that I've gotten.
We look at things that causes the imbalances as as obstructions on all the different levels, physical, mental, emotional, etc. And we can clearly see, but no matter how much cleansing people do, until they consciously choose the road of peace, balance, and correct conduct, I don't care how much cleaning you do.
I
You have to make
resisted
that
you.
choice.
I resisted you because you kept saying peace, balance, and correct conduct for the powers that be, and I refused to do that. I wanted retribution so I could see it. I wanted to witness it. Now that's changed. I've shifted that.
Yeah, but it has to be that choice, because I've watched people cleansing for years, and some of them are pretty nasty out there, and and what they're doing out there, and so on and so forth. So, hey, until you decide and live it, the cleansing is a major player in assisting you in going down that road, but you have to consciously choose the peace, balance, and correct conduct. If you cleanse yourself up and go out there and wear masks and go get injected, what are you doing? I don't know. You got to stand for something. And this is more of a spiritual major decision people got to make. I won't call it warfare, but they're pushing war on us, but we're not going to accept that. We're going to say,
there's a big segment down here that will accept that. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We're just itching.
Yeah. It may have to come to that, we hope not. Peace is always the best way. But if we look at the history of humanity, it's always come down to major conflicts before people waking up. Major conflicts. So it's just keep sending plaf and elevating these souls. That's all we can do. You know, we got to hold all these guys accountable. All these people that are pushing forth this agenda. We got to hold them accountable. Like, what do we do with these people? We put them in jail. We got to take care of them in jail. Like, you know, I would give an option. We the people should go give them an option right now, laid out flat. You know, you either come down, release yourselves from your positions and give up all your wealth, or you're going to pay the price very, very heavily. It's this, we can't be playing around anymore. They have to pay the price if they don't choose to change their ways. They have to pay the price. We cannot let this continue to happen. It's been happening for too long.
I saw in parts of France, I'm pretty sure, rural France, that they are beginning to push back on these local leaders, big time.
Yeah.
Citizens are trying. I'm like, you know, they forget 100 years ago, 120 years ago what happened. And it started in France, right?
I heard they were doing some investigations or something. They're doing some investigations.
They're beginning to show up at their homes in mass.
Yeah.
Starting to approach, you know, these local leaders, these whatever they call themselves over there. You know, whether they're governors or whatever they are. And some of it because they're doing the same. They're so leftist. They're doing the same bullshit that all these others are, and just, you know.
That's all that has to happen. You know, we can't allow this tyranny to continue, man. This is crazy. This is absolute insanity. Oh boy. Peace, balance, correct conduct, elevate their souls. It's all, something's got to snap.
The only way humanity knows is through violence.
Well, that's what I said before. The only way is through is what's happened in the past and with humanity that's what it's always happened. We've gone through violence, which sucks, horrific. And we don't condone that at all. But I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. Like there was one cop from I think it was Quebec. He quit. He says, I've had enough of this nonsense. I can't deal with this anymore. I'm not supporting this. He quit.
One.
That's what needs to happen.
Yes.
That's just one. The whole fucking freaking force has got to say, that's enough. The military, that's enough. What are they going to do?
They're trying
to do fuck all.
See what they're doing down here to them. Just defunding the police and all this bullshit.
You don't need police if people chose peace, balance, correct conduct. You don't need it.
Oh,
people take care of themselves.
The murder rates have skyrocketed.
Everywhere.
Chicago, New York.
Yeah, up here. Big time.
It's all part of the agenda.
Yep. Stir the pot so people get agitated. I posted that thing about the red and black ants. Did you see that?
No.
They put the red and black ants in a jar and they were all fine until the jar was shaken violently, and then they start attacking each other, the reds against the blacks. That's what they're doing.
Exactly what they're doing.
And you know, it's never the reds or the blacks, it's the guy agitating the jar. Exactly what they're doing. Divide and conquer. It's very clear, and they've been mastering this for millennia. Now they have so much technology to do it much easier.
Mm-hmm.
They have the whole freaking internet, the whole news media, and everything else to agitate we the people so we go against each other.
Well, you know what?
Instead of embracing each other.
They forgot that with social media, we can share the truth as well. And different races, different countries, different everything. Different colors, different religions.
They can't stop us now.
Right? Yeah, so they kind of like they shoot their own foot, right? Like they hurt
Every
themselves.
time they come out with something more, they go down more. More crap comes out. That's
Yeah,
what's been happening in the last 6 months, big
that-
time.
mhm. I mean, coming from the Middle East, right? Being a Palestinian, growing up with all the news, you see the raw news over there. And then coming here and seeing the news, like it's almost anti-Palestinian and pro-Israel. And you're like, but well, you don't see any truth. And you're like, okay. But now, all over the social media, not the mainstream, you see Palestinians themselves taking videos with their phones. So you really cannot hide the truth anymore. So at some point the truth is out, and you'll see more and more and more and more of it, which is great. And now, actually, I think Rocco Galati, the lawyer, said today that he didn't use social media in the past. He was like more old school, and he didn't like to use social media. But he says, when I started using it, I realized that social media is like mainstream media. So I think he's coming up with alternative, or more like decentralized or something. I don't know, social media. So that's nice. That's of course. So the social media
No,
is becoming more and
it's
more
the
restricted.
social media giants that have been taken over and in cahoots with the big governments with the agenda. That's the problem. It's just the big giants.
Yeah. I mean,
Into Congress next week, I think. Big deal.
What was that?
I say the Congress is hauling all the heads of these companies in next week for
Yeah. Because they're
refusing to what the New York Post for this Biden bullshit. Not that anyone's got fun of it, but
yeah, and
Yes,
also we have to remember that things like Facebook, it's a private business, right?
it's not. It is, but it's not. It's not.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying, but it is owned mainly by one person, and so the decision is not up to the 2 point something billion people who are using it.
Right.
it's a public corporation.
It's up to the best for the corporation, right? The
It's a
decisions
public corporation.
are made for the corporation; they're not made for the people. And
If
but
you're
we have
open
to
to
understand
business,
but we have to understand as well. We can't forget that, okay, it's private business. Sure, we want a big, huge a business like that, where when 2 billion plus people on Earth are using it to become decentralized, but it's not. And that's our choice. Do we want to use it or do we not want to use it? And it's up to the it's up to the CEO to decide what's the best for the people, and the Facebook, because what's best for the Facebook is the best for the people. What's the best, eventually.
no. You got it all wrong. It's
that.
always what's best for the corporation, bottom line. That's it, period.
Yeah, I know, but
And they're a public corporation. They're open, it's a public trading corporation. Even if it's a private corporation, once you decide to be in business to the public, you are bound by the laws. You have to have set within your jurisdiction of what's available. Like here, as Gulati says, if you're open to the public, you're bound by you what?
I say only if they choose to enforce the laws, which they don't.
Well, yeah, of course. But if you're open to the public, you cannot deny the public to come into your business. Because you're like if you're a vendor, whatever, you're under license to allow any public member to come in. Otherwise, it's prejudiced. Blah 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 goes down the line of that. So you're bound by that. Otherwise, don't be in business to the public.
Right.
These guys make up their own laws.
They just don't enforce the ones that they have in place to begin with. That's all. They haven't done that for decades down here. And there's certainly two sets of laws, one for us and one for them.
Yeah. We chose to come in this very interesting time. So we're all here for a reason. And we really, really have to stay focused now, more than ever. And we have to make our choice of, you know, are we in line with the principles of God and creator, creation, universe, or not? That's really what it's coming down to now. Whether you want to believe in the biblical stuff or not, it's here. It's all come down to this point of decision that people must make. And you know, it's wonderful time, because the way things were going was just absolutely ludicrous. How we've been destroying this planet and each other over the last, you know, especially 50 to 100 years. It's just was way overboard. So this is going to be a major reset in every which way, not according to their agenda, but according to the rules of, and laws of the universe and nature. So that's the way I see it. You know, it really comes down to making that choice. And politics, I'm never for any of them. Like I said, I've said before, I'd vote for none of the above, because I'm not involved in their games, and I don't consent to any of their tacit consent crap. Whoever goes into power, I'm going to be accepting that as nonsense. You know, I'm going to stick with my belief in creator and the laws of the universes to continue going down that path as best I possibly can. Whoa. Car going nuts. So yeah.
Need to get rid of the governments. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, we don't need governments. You know, when you look at the way the Aboriginals used to live in small communities and so on, they governed themselves between each people. Every time there was a challenge, they bring in the elders, and they would discuss, decide. That's all they did, and things got resolved all the time. And they continued to live in harmony with nature. Simple. And then white man came and made a mess of everything.
There's no governing body in AA. Did you know that? Most of these organizations have governing bodies. We have no governing body whatsoever.
Really?
None.
Interesting. Oh, I see Janet's got her hand up. Sorry, finish, Steve.
I say there's zero governing.
Awesome.
Rotating leadership, that's all.
Janice, go ahead. Let me unmute you.
So yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to say hi. Since there's not that many people, I'm kind of shy, but I just wanted to introduce myself to the group this week and say hello to everyone. Hi, Rana.
Hello.
Hi, Janice.
I had a session with you. I guess it was like a month ago, or maybe it was more. I'm I'm doing a 40. Because remember I had said that I was going to try and do, well, I'm on, and Tuesday I'll be done a 40. So, you know, I'm kind of weak. Like Steve was saying. I mean, like going up steps and everything really hurts my legs a lot. Is that, normal to have extreme?
No, it's absolutely not normal, but it's common because people are obstructed.
Oh, it's just common. I see. Okay. Well, but besides that, I feel pretty good. Last week I didn't join because I didn't feel good at all. I was doing the dry fast and I didn't feel good, but I feel pretty good this week, so it's good, maybe kind of weeks and bad weeks, or good days and bad days, some stuff like that,
No good or bad, it just is.
Huh?
There's no good or bad, it just is.
It just is. Well,
Part of the journey.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, I have a long way to go because, I'm up there with you, Steve. So, and I've had a whole lifetime of eating anything and everything, drinking, partying, you name it. I mean, and I've done it most.
A
So
lot of us have.
yeah, I know. So, I have to pay the dues, but I'm just so grateful to have found this because I knew when I read it that this was going to be it for me, because I'm on a spiritual journey too. And I know that I was guided to this because I didn't even want to hit master fast on the button, and I did anyway. I was like, I thought you were just like a lemon juice cleanse or something. But when I read it, I was like, oh, well, you know what? That's it. I mean, it just hit me. That's what I've been looking for all my life. Well, not all my life. Let's just say the last probably 10 years. 10 years of my life. So I'm really grateful to have this. And I'm going to try and join the meeting as much as I can. But my
Awesome.
grandson has, I don't know, sort of moved in permanently. He was going off and on with his father, but now it's more here. So I don't know. That's really challenging. Well, I live in a 2-bedroom apartment outside of Washington, D.C., Annapolis. And it's hard, to fit all this stuff in. Because I'm still so blocked up, like with my enemas and stuff. They take longer than I know that they should. But to get all the stuff that you said I need to do, it just takes me a long time. Or it would be a big old mess.
It is what it is. If you don't take the time with yourself, nobody else will, right?
I know. So it's just like, trying to carve out time to do it. And I'm working. So, I mean, it's nothing anybody else hasn't done. But, it's just something new for me. But I started, I guess it was around the end of June or, so it's almost like 4 months. So I'm really new. But
yeah, you got to commit an absolute minimum 1 to 2 hours every day on yourself. Absolute minimum for this lifestyle. And when then you'll start enjoying that time. You got to make the time, and you got to be consciously aware that it's time for you to love yourself and commit to it and just keep going.
I know,
Because
it just seems like there's something, it just seems like there's something all the time that comes up. I mean, because he was living half with his dad and half with us, and it seemed to really work, and now it isn't working with the dad. So, it's just constant adjustment in my life.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Change is good.
Changes, that's when these things
Well,
put.
that's all there is. It's change.
Well,
you
that's,
know?
you're trying to make a change, a major change, and that's when these things
Oh.
that you want change start pushing back the hardest.
Oh, I'm doing it. I am doing it. I don't care. I told Gino, I am doing it. This is the chance that I have for my health. And I know that it's right. I was doing some meditations with this guy, and he brings in the Elohim. And I went out for the meditation, but they give a written thing of the of what the Elohim says. And oh, it was pretty much saying that this was an experiment that has failed, and that the food is the wrong source for our bodies, and that we, in not in those terms, but I could read between the lines, and that I feel like I'm maybe bringing in the consciousness of fasting into this area, because DC, they are so asleep over here. I mean, in my apartment complex, they ride around with masks in their car. I was telling Gina, they're smoking with masks. They lift the mask up and then put it back down. I mean, they are just so asleep. It's crazy. And I feel like maybe, I'm bringing some type of energy into this area, because I don't see anybody else, but my friends, they just think I'm nuts. I'm totally gone off the deep end,
We've all gone through that.
Oh my God. And they think, that I've gone off the deep end because, my husband passed away 4 years ago, and they think, that I've lost my mind.
It's ludicrous. Some people would rather see you bedridden than being skinny. It's
Oh,
just
you're
like,
right.
The common sense is just, there's nothing. It's not there.
That is so true. Oh my gosh, that's true.
That's
Yeah.
I don't know how do you come to any sense with that? I don't know. I just don't know.
Bedridden,
Elevate the souls. Elevate the souls. That's
Yeah.
all.
bedridden is one, depression is another one. They see weight loss is worse than depression and worse than being bedridden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, you might be a little bit weaker. Okay, you might be a little bit too small, but that ideally, that's not how you are going to be eventually. Eventually, your body will be just, the balanced, So at some point you will reach.
Yeah.
That's why we say, do it maybe slowly, transition slowly. Do the lifestyle with one of the levels. Unless you want to do mainly liquidarian, and that's fine, then you're ready for a huge change. But if most people are not, and having some eating days to balance out the fasting, and also it slows down the detox, and like you don't get too small as well too fast, and you don't get too weak too fast, So
Too late. Too late. I'm still like 77 pounds or something. I mean, you can't really tell, but I had a big lump right below my rib cage. And I used to go to acupuncture, and he felt it, had almost like a heartbeat to it. And now it's pretty much gone. It must have been backed up feces, or I don't know. I had a colonic yesterday, and the colonic lady told me that one of her clients got feces coming out of her mouth because she had a bowel blockage, and it was coming up into her mouth. Can you imagine?
Yep.
Oh, it's just awful. They're just torturing people.
No, we're torturing ourselves.
We're torturing ourselves. Yeah. He took it out of my
Well, they
mouth.
don't know because they're so asleep. Like my sisters, they're trained, they're medical professionals. And if they even admitted this type of lifestyle, they'd have to admit everything they did was a lie. And they're not going to go there.
Nope.
Absolutely.
Very, very few would.
It's very hard. It's very hard for them. It's their whole career and education. You know, like how can you how can you threaten that? You know, or change that? So you just have to. They have to. You know, God put you through your journey, and God put them through their journeys. So don't worry too much about theirs. You know.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't fault them. I just, don't tread on me,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they want to take all my rights away.
Of course.
And then just put what they know. And everyone's sick. Everyone's fat. Everyone. How did that become the norm?
Yeah. Swollen, inflamed.
Feeds the machine.
It's
Feeds the machine.
That's
Pharma,
crazy.
big ag, pharma, and the medical. It's just
one big circle.
one big circle.
Keeps it turning.
Greases the wheels all the way through. Yep, just like the hamster.
Well,
Not many get off.
I don't know, but I'm really glad that I found you guys, and thank you for listening to me. I know I talk animated,
No.
but you might as well get used to me.
All is welcome, Janice. Everybody's welcome.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, guys. I guess I've said enough.
Thank you for joining in.
Sure. Seems safe.
We're just here supporting each other. We just talk casually, whatever comes up. Our focus is the Master Fast lifestyle, but this COVID thing is 6 months we're into it. It's a part of all our lives.
I know. And they're gonna up the numbers close to the election and have everyone in chaos. And I just, since I do go into DC, I actually went into DC today to do work because y'all were talking about Mercury retrograde, and I was trying to check in drawings because I do drafting work for the utility company in our area. And I was trying to check in drawings, and the program stopped working and wouldn't check my drawings in. And the guy was online waiting for him so he could take them for an urgent project. And I am panicking. I had to go into work this morning to check those drawings in. It's like, it was messing.
Just got to, sometimes you take a break, just turn the computer off or whatever and go back, a few minutes later, 10, 15 minutes later. Sometimes just doing that will correct itself.
No, I did that.
Yeah.
And now my phone has a virus on it. I have to go and get a new phone because I called the phone company and it won't charge. And either it's a hardware, which you have to replace your phone, or there's a couple other things, but mostly if it won't charge, you're screwed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course,
Could be
it
the
happened
battery.
today.
Yeah, you know what?
Or the charger.
Sometimes when we have challenges, I am guilty of that for sure. We kind of lose faith and we get frustrated and impatient. But I think, looking at the big picture, I feel, God puts us through this for a reason. There is a reason behind everything. So be the observer and ask yourself, why, what lesson am I learning from this? What is God teaching me here? It's really nice, instead of being impatient about challenges, just to see what, or even just blessings. It doesn't have to be a challenge, even a conversation, talking to someone, I started thinking, what is God teaching me from this interaction, with this person? And there's always something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I did ask myself that and I couldn't come up with nothing. I don't know.
The answer is
Maybe because I'm aware of the
In
energies.
its time.
It doesn't seem to affect, everybody, but maybe if you're aware of them, then maybe they do more. Maybe you notice them more. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Hi,
Right,
Simeon.
Okay, I'm going to mute.
Me too. $100 have a chance.
Before I forget, something happened today when I was driving. And I put my glasses on. And I could not see any difference between the glasses on and the glasses off for the first time.
Wow.
Actually, it was a little worse with the glasses on because I was getting a little fuzzy on the peripheral. Wearing glasses for, what am I, 61? I don't know, 54 years?
Wow.
Glasses.
54 years.
Old.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, a few people got rid of their glasses yet. It's if you're willing to commit and do the work, everything goes black to blueprint. It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
You have to work at it.
There were sunglasses, but they were old, so I know the prescription's real low. So I put the other ones on. I haven't had them on in, I don't know, weeks, months, I don't know, a while. And it's like, not much different. Pretty damn close. That's good.
Awesome. I remember one time I got pulled over, and the cop goes, "Where's your glasses?" I go, "What glasses?" He goes, "Your driver's license says you wear glasses." I go, "I've never wore glasses." He goes, "Look." He goes, "I can give you a ticket." I go, "I've never wore glasses." I go, "That's a mistake." I never noticed it. There was the thing checked. I don't know how it happened. There was a mistake. So he goes, "Well, you're gonna have to go,
Yeah.
get tested, blah 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 blah." So I went in to do the test and everything, and they take it off. They took it off, but that was weird that time. That had happened. My driver's license expired now, but everything's expired. But you can't go in to renew them. They've extended the expiration. Anybody who's expired.
Have to make appointments down here.
Yeah. But yeah, the glasses, the eyes, whenever we have any challenges in the physicality, we always have to go back to an emotion that causes the fields to create imbalances. Well, it's actually not the field, sorry, it's the obstructions of the emotions which cause the imbalances in certain areas. So for eyes, I noticed when I started to take care of my mother, because it's my mother, and there's certain attributes and fields that are very strong. I didn't want to see all the pain and suffering. I was like, I feel the pain and suffering of my mother now more than ever. I've never gone through this in my whole life until these last 3 years taking care of her. And, an attribute of not wanting to see the pain will distort your vision physically because of the high energy packets that you put in through the obstruction of not wanting to see. It'll affect your seeing in the physical eyes. A cavity in the tooth, no difference. There has to be an obstruction that's going to cause that high energy packet, which is going to cause that obstruction. And interference in the physicality or whatever, your heart, your liver, your kidneys, your legs, your arms, whatever, anything in your physical body. We always have to go back to the fields of the emotions. And we may not be able to recognize some of the emotions. They may be from past traumas, which we call traumas, but some experiences that were very imbalancing, and we're not conscious of them anymore, but they're there. Or it could be through our ancestral imbalances that they're there and we don't consciously know about them. And these are all things that we must learn to allow them to surface and let them go. Even though we don't understand them, we have to be conscious of these things. And we've seen so much of this in the past 5 years, of how many people have been very much so abused through their childhoods and stuff and so on and so forth, or through their adulthood. And these are going to affect our physicality. So how do we deal with it? We're doing it right now. We're living, loving it. We're supporting each other on these calls on the page. And this is all we can do. There's no magic solution or words or anything, but continuous support and commitment, persistent consistency will always move us towards balance. And just listen to Elaine's story, who's been in here for a few, over 2 years, 2.5 years, Steve's for a couple of years, Hans, and Rana's and myself, of all the different things that we've gone through choosing this type of lifestyle. And once we make that decision, doesn't mean we're gonna stop having challenges. Challenges are gonna maybe continue to come to the surface, and it doesn't matter, because it's all part of the journey, and we embrace it and jump for joy and allow it to unfold and release these things, because we'll always come out stronger, even if we're down in the dumps for a while, months or another year. Sometimes people will take a year off and just not want to do anything, or not, just go down the road, the route of obstructiveness, and that happens, and it's just okay, but when we decide to make that commitment, then we'll eventually come around and say, yeah, I've had enough of this pain and suffering and misery. I have to continue, and we do. And this is why I've been at this 31 years, and I hear all these stories about people moaning and groaning and complaining and pointing fingers. And when I look back at everything I went through, I said, I didn't have any of that stuff and people to complain to. I just accepted as part of the journey. That's all I did. And I just moved on and went down that road. And we're still here, and we continue. So we don't know what's going to come to the surface, and it's okay. Just listen to Steve earlier if you weren't here. You can go back if you weren't. It's an honor and blessing, to have people share these things. And Elaine's story, if you guys didn't watch her interview, you can watch that. And just awesome. And Hans. And my story's been plastered over and over and over. I continue to share different experiences I go through and so on and so forth, like the challenges that I had with my mother. Like I said, these past 3 years have been the most difficult time ever. Dealing with somebody, that the mind's starting to go and so on and so forth. And it's one post somebody put up, when somebody gets diagnosed with cancer, everybody's there to support. Somebody gets diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia, everybody disappears. It's the mental and emotional stuff that is why we're all wearing masks out there. We have not stepped up to the plate and says, we have to deal with this no matter what, because these are our loved ones, and we are there for them no matter what, because this is the right thing to do. How can it not be the right thing to do, to support your loved ones? How can it not be? If anybody tries to convince you of anything but that, that's what I call the Luciferic intellect agenda, man. There's nothing to do with peace, balance, and correct conduct in that. And no matter how difficult and hard it is, we still have to commit to that and go down that path, doing the right thing. So some people may not agree with me, but that's okay. This is where I stand and where I'll continue to do at all costs. At all costs. If it costs my physicality, so be it. This is temporary plane that we're all in. And, if we can all consciously remember where we came from, we'd all be in a different path right now. So awesome. Dorina, have we ever, I think she's been on before, or he or she, I think it's a she. Nice to have you on. If you want to say something, join us. I think we should do a little meditation and end the night.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to stick around, get comfortable. And thank you all if you decide to leave. But I feel the meditation is very good when we do it. I feel it's a lot more powerful when there's many people doing it. If you can look at the sciences that have done that and looked at that, where people have done tests in cities with a bunch of people meditating on peace, and the crime rates went down substantially. So that these are kind of truth sciences that I like to what I like to use sciences for. Not trying to say, oh, this and that virus caused all your sickness. Bull crap. Let's look at our lifestyles for the last several decades. But what do I know? Let's continue. And let's get comfortable in our chairs, close our eyes. Let's focus on that breath. Keep your hands comfortable on your thighs is usually a good position, or any position you want that you feel comfortable, and let everything loose and just focus on the breath. In through the nose, out through the nose, and cycle that. On the in-breath, imagine the breath starting at the base of the spine, the tailbone, and as you inhale, drive it up the spine, up to the top of the head. And then on the exhale, drive it down the front of the body, down under the crotch, back to the tailbone, and cycle it again. In, up through the spine, down front of the body. And let's focus and cycle that a few times. And with each breath, we become more and more relaxed. And let's take our focus and move it to the area just below the belly button, down that area. And drive the breath into that area. No force, but the focus is putting the motion of the breath into that area. And by keeping the focus there, we bring balance to that area. Keep the tongue at the roof of the mouth or roll it back, and you can suck on that on your own tongue. That's a very powerful hydrating field that is created when you do that. It's very useful when you're dry fasting regularly. Everything's about the fields. And by moving and changing the physicality, we can influence the fields and how they react. Just like the planets are all tilted at certain degrees and angles. It's not random. This is has a lot of intelligence behind it to create certain fields and environments that we live in. If the breath, if your focus drifts away, just bring it back to the breath, into that area. And let's move the focus down to the genital area. For the females, it's the energy goes to the ovaries, and for the males, it's in the testes. The sexual energy is a very powerful energy, the energy of procreation. Is how we all got to be manifested into this realm. Well, most of us, I would assume. And keep focusing in that area. The breaths are going in through the nose and out through the nose, always nasal breathing, minimal breathing, low volume air. The less we breathe, the more oxygenated, more energy we have. Stay focused. As the physical body becomes so relaxed that you don't even feel it anymore. Whenever we obstruct, we need more of this, that, and the other thing. We need more food. We need more breathing. More material things. The obstructions and the accumulation go hand in hand with imbalances. The simpler we choose life, the less we eat, the less we breathe, the more in control we will become. Let's move the focus to the perineum, the area between the anus and genitals. That area contains a very strong vortex. In through the nose, out through the nose. Let's move the attention to the tip of the tailbone, bottom of the spine. or the top if we are upside down. Spinal column has massive amounts of energy flowing up and down continuously. And these fields create, maintain, and support the whole physicality. Let's move the focus up the spine to the area between the kidneys. Continuously focusing on the breath in that area. You can feel when you focus the breath on these areas, you can feel the balance being restored. After all, it's all about the fields. And the focus is a field. Let's bring up and move the attention to the area between the shoulder blades. Feel that massive flow of energy up and down the spine. The rest of the physical body doesn't exist at this time. It'll be there when we need it. In through the nose, out through the nose. Continue keeping the tongue, the roof of the mouth or rolled back. You might feel extra moisture coming in the mouth if you have the tongue rolled back. Body creates its own hydration through the fields, like everything else. The more we we clear the obstructions, the more efficient the physicality works. Let's move the attention to the atlas, which is the top of the spine where the skull sits on top. Carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, called the atlas. When you're dealing field strength, there is no weight. It's all done through field strength, mag-graphs positioning, magnetical gravitational field strength holds things in position. It's the same way the planets are held in orbit. In the exact positions to each other. Never collide. Because they have that field strength signature to remain in those positions effortlessly. The intelligent architect behind it made it that way. And that intelligence is infinitely vast. And let's move that attention up to the top of the head, the center of the skull, right on top. We call that the 1,000-point junction. There's another strong vortex in that area, energetically. All the chakras have vortices. Focus that breath into that area. In through the nose, out through the nose. Let's move the focus to the third eye, right between the eyes and the forehead. Let's move our focus down to the throat area, thyroid area, voice box. We are not held back to speak our truth. Stand for unalienable rights, which are God-given, Creator-given, universe-given. Nobody else gives those to you. We are born with them. And we move our focus to the heart, the strongest field strength in the physical body that's been measured. It can go many meters. And through the heart and soul field strength, we can use that to elevate all souls to line up in peace, balance, correct conduct, because they are all mirrors of ourselves. We're all mirrors of each other. And when we elevate those souls, in doing so, we elevate our own. And that their soul, the light of their soul, gets brighter and brighter. So it pierces their physicality to move in the direction of peace, balance, correct conduct. All these world leaders, all the people enforcing, all the people that have been suffering because of all this. Continuously elevate the souls, tapping into those fields of plasma love always flowing. That energy can never be taken from you. It's available all the time. Just tap in. When we nourish our emotions, there's no need for physical food. The more we can nourish our emotions, the less we will desire any physical food. Let's move the attention down to the solar plexus, just below the rib cage. It's the stomach area. And let's bring the focus of driving the breath from bottom of the spine like we started. And the inhale went up the spine. Reach the top of the head. Exhale down the front of the body. Back down around to the tailbone. Inhale up the spine. Back down the front of the body. Cycle a few of those on your own. As we're doing that, we can start wiggling our toes, our fingers. Come back to the physicality. Open your eyes when you're ready. And grab your hands and do counterclockwise 9 times. Seal in all that beautiful energy. And away we go.
Glad we got that. Missed that the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we went on for so long. We're out home. It's much more powerful when we do it with a group of people.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
Sure.
I'm so sorry, guys. I fell asleep. And, today I was thinking, do I drink coffee today? Do I not? Is coffee a good thing, a bad thing? I was thinking I should drink coffee today, but I didn't. And I ended up falling asleep. So sorry. I missed everybody.
Better you didn't drink coffee. No need for
Okay.
coffee.
For years.
Causes a lot of imbalances.
Yeah.
Too strong of a stimulant. If you want to do it once a year, no big deal. But I wouldn't do much more than that. I can't remember the last coffee. I used to love espresso. I still love the smell of it, but to drink it,
Mhm.
it's very strong.
Yes.
So, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We'll stay focused on doing the best we can, staying in that line of peace, balance, correct conduct, and let's continuously pray for everyone. And the only answer is the light. The stuff that's going to happen is going to happen, but the repercussions, I believe they're going to come around very hard for these people that are doing all this. We are in the Aquarian age of knowledge and light, and the truth cannot be held back anymore. And they know this, and they're scrambling as much as they can. That's why they're doing it now, because their time has run out. So let's elevate their souls that they may join us in the peace, balance, correct conduct movement, because the alternative for them is not going to be pleasant. That's the way I see it. They're going to pay the price to some degree. And thank you so much again. We'll see you on the page. We'll see you Wednesday. We'll see you Saturday again.
Mhm.
And awesomeness. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.